So there's the really funny Colin Coward, which has turned into a meme, and I enjoy watching Colin. I'm a big fan. And Colin, I enjoy and I like because even if he's wrong, you can tell that he's not just trying to give you a hot take. He's trying to give you what he truly believes, even if it blows up in his face, right? And so there's the meme of him, or what's been turned into a meme of when he declared Ben Simmons is here, LeBron, we're good. We don't need you no more, right? It's the we're good. We're good. We don't need you, right? And it turned into a meme because obviously, as soon as he said it, Ben Simmons' career somehow just imploded, and LeBron continued to have an amazing historic run, still continuing to get to the finals for a couple more years, and got a title with the Lakers. I am here to say today, 2010's, we're good. So the reality is now I still think Jokic and the Nuggets have a slight chance to beat OKC because Jokic is just amazing. He's the best player in the sport, and I'm not going to discount him or count him out until he is actually knocked out and they've lost 4 times. But the reality is the Eastern Conference Finals is going to be most likely Knicks Pacers. I know the Celtics won last night, but I think the Knicks are going to wrap up that series, especially with the Tatum injury. We'll get to them later in the show. And Pacers have already clinched the way in the Eastern Conference Finals. And in the Western Conference Finals, the Timberwolves last night got punched their ticket, and I think OKC will get theirs. Which means OKC, Minnesota, Indiana, and New York, Brunson, Halliburton, SGA, Anthony Edwards, someone's going to win their first title. 2010's, we're good. This is why I've stressed so much, and I've talked about it on this show. I've talked about it on group chat. I've talked about it just talking to Tony and Will. When the NBA was really struggling to move on from LeBron, Steph, Durant, and it was on all levels. The media was having a hard time moving off LeBron and Steph. The NBA, because Durant's been traded so many times, it was hard to move off of him. Like, teams kept going after these players. The media kept talking about these players. And that's why you saw the headline, but it got kind of buried this year, which is a good thing, that the ratings went down as soon as LeBron and the Lakers went out of the playoffs. And the ratings are probably going to go down again now that the Warriors are out of the playoffs. These are two huge markets, two huge fan bases, and two huge in LeBron and Steph. Just two huge media giants. And they deserve that. They're two of the greatest players we've ever seen. Of course, people are going to be attached to them. But it's now time, and no better time than now, start looking at your new stars. Look at your Anthony Edwards, dynamic, now a great shooter, led the NBA in three-point field goal percentage. Tyrese Halliburton, maybe the best pure point guard in the sport that we've seen since Chris Paul, in terms of how he can run an offense. He can have an impact without, maybe the only star who can have a true impact on a game without giving you 20 points. SGA led the NBA in scoring, back-to-back 1 seeds on a team that has enough talent to truly be a dynasty-level team in the Oklahoma City Thunder. And, of course, Jalen Brunson, for if you grew up when I did and you're around my age, for all the talk about the New York Knicks, and it's a historic franchise. But they've never been great. They've been good. They had the couple years with Melo and Amari, and that was exciting. But Jalen Brunson getting the Knicks to the Eastern Conference Finals and potentially the NBA Finals, we now have a great basketball team in New York. 2010's, we're good. You did what you needed to do. You gave us amazing stars. Steph, LeBron, Durant, and you gave us amazing stars, an amazing time. The Warriors dynasty, we'll never forget it. LeBron going to the finals 8 straight years. But we're good. We now have new, young superstars. Get to know them. Get to know them. And get to know these teams. the Timberwolves, the Pacers, the Thunder, the Knicks. These are the new teams. We are past the age of the Warriors, the Lakers. And I know the Lakers have Luka, and look, the teams that are here currently are not your quote-unquote, it's nothing to do with being traditional, even though the Knicks are an iconic franchise. The Pacers obviously have a history. Their Eastern Conference Finals runs, Reggie Miller. It's got nothing to do with where they stand historically. It's where they stand now. And that the NBA, the ratings, again, are probably going to go down one more time in the playoffs because they have not shown us these guys in a way that is meaningful, in a way that matters, in a way that marketing has truly taken advantage of. The closest is Anthony Edwards. And there's been all this talk about face of the NBA. And whether you want to say this is the one individual player is the face of the NBA, it's hard in succession plans to go from one guy to another guy, replace it, and it's seamless. But one to many works a lot of times, right? Like the NBA was lucky that it got to go from Mike to this combination of Kobe, Shaq, Duncan, and really young LeBron. One to many. Now LeBron's had it. Steph kind of in there too. And it would be really tough to say LeBron to Giannis or LeBron to Jokic or LeBron to Anthony Edwards. But if I get to go LeBron to Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, Jalen Brunson, that's SGA. That's plausible. One to many has a much higher likelihood of working than one to one. It's just almost impossible to follow up a Jordan, a Kobe, a LeBron. That's hard. Even for professional athletes, even for world-class athletes, that's hard. So we now have transitioned where we had our superstars of yesteryear. These are our superstars of today. We've had our great teams of yesteryear. These are our great teams of today. They're going to have all these conversations, and I love Giannis. Jokic is amazing. But these teams, and they're still going to be relevant, but every generation has its remaining superstars who are left over from the previous generation. There's always going to be guys who, as your team starts to make a run and starts to make a claim for itself, there's going to be superstars from a prior year who are still relevant, who are still really good. You're still gonna have, for those of you that can't let go, an older Durant, an older Steph, and an older LeBron, and that's perfect for the league. Let them still be great. I've said multiple times, they are the greatest old superstars you're probably ever gonna see. You're never gonna have another time where you're gonna have someone like LeBron, Steph, and Durant all playing at the same time. At this age, playing this well. But we've got young guys now. Hit the meme. 2010's. We're good. I also want to explain, and this is for something we do all the time. When a team wins an NBA title, we just always put them as betting odds. Fans, media are like, okay, cool, they're the favorite to win it next year. And this happens in a lot of sports, but it really happens in the NBA. And I talked about this a little bit on Tuesday, where I said a few weeks ago, let's not just hand the Celtics the title. Now, yes, Tatum being injured, unfortunately, really, I think ruins it and puts it in the ground. But the Celtics were losing this series even before the Tatum injury. Hope Tatum makes a full recovery, even though he's probably out next year. Again, we'll get to him later in the show. Just because you won a title and you bring back the same team, I said Milwaukee did this. They were considered the favorite. You can go even all the way back to the Lakers. The Lakers did this. Pretty much brought back the same team post-bubble, were the favorites. Didn't win out in the second round. Then you got the Bucks. Boom. Giannis. Middleton, Drew, everybody's back. We're going to win. Giannis is going crazy. He's 26, I believe, at the time, 27. We're at 50 points in an NBA Finals game, out in the second round. The Nuggets, Jokic, oh my gosh, look what he's doing. Look at how amazing they are. Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, out in the second round. These teams, and now the Celtics, amazing. They look like they're going to be a dynasty. Oh my gosh, they're maybe the best starting five ever, out in the second round. These teams, just because you've won one, does not guarantee you that you are going to win 2, 3, you're going to turn into some dynasty. It is very unique and rare. These players that win 3, 4, 5, the Steph Currys and the Golden State Warriors, LeBron James, the Heat and the Cavaliers, Michael Jordan, obviously, with the Bulls, Kobe and the Lakers, 2 different little mini runs. Tim Duncan getting 5 over 15 years. These are unique, all-time pantheon guys who are fighting for the top 5 to 10 players of all time. This era, like, that was the era of dynasties. The Duncans, the Bulls, the Lakers, the Celtics, LeBron. That was an era of dynasties. This is an era of ones. And let's not make the same mistake. One of these 4 teams, again, like I said, Knicks, Pacers, Wolves, Thunder, somebody's going to get their first title. And we're going to look at them and go, well, the Wolves are still young. They got Ant, and they got Julius Randle and Gobert, and they got depth. Oh, they should be able to repeat. The Thunder, the story writes itself. Look at the job Sam Presti has done. Oh, my God. We're going to address Sam Presti here at some point because he's got to win a title here. With the amount of talent he has, at some point he's got to win a title. You go over to the East, the Pacers, again, young stars. The Knicks, what they've done with all the Villanova guys. Excuse me. We're going to all look at them and go, oh, yeah, they should clearly be in the title. Most guys, if they get one is all they get. And it's not a matter of not being great enough. It's not a matter of not being whatever enough. Jokic is an all-time player, in my opinion. He might end his career with 1 title. Giannis is an all-time player. Might end his career with 1 title. And if SGA and Halliburton Brunson wins it this year, whoever does out of those 4, they might end their career with 1 title. This is an era of ones. And that's not to discredit anybody in this era, but that is to show we always believe, and I think if you grew up, if you're my age, I can only speak for people in my age group, you're kind of used to whatever you're witnessing is great, you overrate it. Old people do this too. But my era is a little biased to it because we think our greatest, because it's been justified by older people, that it's everything's the greatest of all time. Go to the NFL. We got to watch in real time Tom Brady. Tom Brady's the greatest of all time. And that's not just oh, well, I saw him, that makes him the greatest. No, he's actually the greatest of all time. But if you grew up on him, it's going to be really tough because you watched the greatest ever do it in real time. This is the same people that feel about Jordan. When you watched the greatest ever do it in real time. In the NBA, we watched LeBron in real time. We watched Kobe in real time. We watched Duncan in real time. And these guys are not just the greatest of their era, but they are some of the greatest ever. When it comes down to watching greatness, understanding greatness, we're all a little biased towards what we're personally seeing. And you become even more biased when what you're seeing turns out to actually be the greatest ever. Think of how kids are going to feel about Mahomes in the NFL. You're never going to be able to, you're going to have, Brady's resume is so insane that it's easy to say, oh, well, Brady's clearly the GOAT. Brady's going to stay the GOAT. But these kids that didn't watch Brady in real time but are watching Mahomes in real time, give them another 5 to 10 years. They're not going to think Brady's better than him. They're gonna think Mahomes is the best because he is. He's going to be the best they've ever seen. And if his resume gets close, it's the same as the people who grew up on LeBron. They're gonna go, oh, he's better than Jordan. Yeah, Jordan's resume is a tick better, or oh, he's got this over him, or he's got this one thing. But you're gonna watch this guy, who you're going to, with your own eyes, go, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And history's going to let you know and be able to back it up that he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest you've ever seen. But as much as I love Ant, as much as I love, as I've gained respect for like a Tyrese Halliburton, as much as I love Giannis, Jokic, these guys aren't Mike, Kobe, LeBron, Duncan. And that's okay. This is just an era of ones. We're not going to have dynastic teams. And with the way the current CBA is set up, it's going to be really, really tough for these teams to maintain, or these organizations to maintain a team that is this great. The Celtics built maybe the best top to bottom roster we've seen in a decade. Now, with the Tatum injury and the second apron, this team is going to look drastically different in 24 months. It's tough to do it. OKC, at some point, they got to pay guys. I know right now it looks insane because you got Holmgren, you got Jay Will, and you got the other Williams, and you got Lou Dort, and you got and Hartenstein. They got to start paying some of these young guys. SGA is going to get a super max. And this team's not going to stay together the way it is. Yeah, it looks great right now. And if they win a title, they're going to be the easiest to say, run it back. Look how much talent they have. Look how much depth they have. It's an era of ones. I don't think we're going to see a dynasty in the NBA for quite some time. This realistically should have already taken place. The Warriors, we'll end on this. Part of the Warriors dynasty, maybe the most underrated part of it, is that they lucked out. Steph started his career injury prone. Maybe the most important contract in NBA history is 4 years, $44 million for Steph Curry. Because that's what set them up to be able to bring in the vets that they brought in early on in the run. What allowed them, when it was time to sign Kevin Durant, when it was time to sign Klay Thompson, when it was time to sign Draymond Green, is because Steph wasn't a supermax guy off the rip. And because he wasn't, it allowed them more flexibility financially when it came to putting the rest of that dynasty together. Otherwise, this theory has probably already existed, that we're going to lose out. We're going to start losing dynasties, and dynasties are going to stop existing in the NBA. And it doesn't mean anyone's not great. Again, Duncans, Kobe's, LeBron's, Jordan's, those are top 3, top 5 Pantheon all-time NBA players, Pantheon all-time and athletes in American sports. Greatest coach, in Duncan's case, greatest coach ever, arguably greatest coach ever, along with being a top 5 player. It's an era of ones.